Yo, guess what? We back. That's right, it's the one and only Solution Sports. The legend himself. You know, we had to get back and chime in again, you know what I'm saying? After all this offensive blowing up all over the place. Braves dueling out with the Diamondbacks. Double-digit scorings by both teams. Braves on a 4-game losing streak. We ain't even gonna talk about the Yankees. Pitchers blowing kisses, walking off the mound. Ohtani and trade talks. Boy, you gotta love baseball, don't you? Who would even think that all of this could lead to drama, soap opera on the diamond? But yeah, man, got a little something rolling in the background. It's early in the morning, about 9 o'clock. We got some early games. Start at 12 o'clock here on the slate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 early games. Hey man, it's an opportunity, right? Another day, another opportunity, right? Recapping from yesterday, Pirates 7-5 over the Guardians. The Guardians made some money for some people the other day. Orioles 8-5, topping the Dodgers. Urias slumping, took the loss. Rangers 5-1 over Tampa Bay. Cardinals 6-4 over the Marlins. Astros handling business. Gomber with another loss. Why is he even pitching? The A's topping the Red Sox. Pretty interesting there. Went on the road, run at home. Brewers took care of the Phillies 5-3. Angels 7-3 over the Yankees. Once again, Ohtani and trade talks. Of course, the Yankees always want to buy somebody. They want to buy themselves a championship. You can buy players, but if they can't stay on the field, they ain't gonna help you. Low scoring game, Padres 2-0. There's a showdown available today for the Padres game. Reds 3-2 over the Giants. Mets winning some games here lately. 5-1 over the White Sox. Braves taking the L against the Diamondbacks. Charlie Morton 10-7 took the loss. Cubs 8-3 over the Nationals. Tigers in a close game 3-2 over Kansas City. And the Twins topping the Mariners at 6-3. Let's get this show on the road. Let's get this thing going, man. Yeah, welcome back in. Everyone who's been chiming in, giving me some views. You know, starting up this year. I will be doing NFL also. We're gonna go over the 7-game early bird slate today. Arizona again going against Atlanta. That's a 12:20 start. Of course, Atlanta will definitely always be a team that a lot of the high-profile players will always have a stack. Weather-wise, looks good. The wind is blowing out to the right. According to DK Live, 10 miles an hour to right field. They may help some of your left-hand batters. Don't really know too much of the lineup so far. Still kind of early. Can probably go to RotoWire. Let's see if we can maybe get some expected lineups. I'm pretty sure they're going to have the lefties like Michael Harris and Rosario and Olsen and Ozzie in there. It's a tough matchup, though. Zach Gallen is their ace. He's 11-4, 3.14 ERA. I respect the guy. I respect Zach a lot. Diamondbacks been coming in, showing their grit. Both of these pitchers got 11 wins. Spencer, as you know, he made All-Star. High strikeout. These two guys are high-profile strikeout pitchers. According to covers, ironically, they got a 9 over/under live on this game. They're still going Atlanta. Minus 200 on the money line for Atlanta against a great pitcher in Zach Gallen. Atlanta does have some good left-hand batters that could maybe give Gallen a little inning or two issues before he gets off the mound. Same could be said for the Braves. I don't really see a lot of scoring in this game. I don't know where they get the 9 runs from. I don't know if that's going to come from maybe post 5 innings with a bullpen. But this will be a great game to watch. I'm pretty sure Braves want to get up snide. If we go to the standings here, let's do a little quick refresh, guys. And I know the Braves want to come out with a win, especially at home. A day game. Let's go on to the next. Today is the 20th. Let's see what goes on here. Let's blot it out, so we'll leave it at that. They haven't updated for the 20th, but Atlanta's on a 4-game losing streak. So I mean, you know, what goes up does have to come down at times. They're still playing excellent baseball. 9.5 games in front of the Phillies in their division. All right, so Phillies and the Mets been playing pretty good. They're trying to, you know, take advantage of this 4-game losing streak. As you can see, the Mets have won 3 in a row, so they've gained 3 games on the Braves. This is a game that they got their ace on the mound. They're gonna come in and try to dominate Arizona today. If we go to DraftKings, Strider, man, this guy, man, his salary is outrageous. I mean, $12,600 for this guy. He does have 1 game to show for against Arizona. If you look at his splits in the DraftKings app, he won. He went decent amount of innings, 6 innings, only gave up 3 hits. He did give up the long ball, which most power pitchers are susceptible to do. They can give up the long ball. We've seen that, you know, out of strikeout pitchers. You know, Cole, a lot of Yankee pitchers have given up long balls this year. So, I mean, but Braves is such a powerhouse team. They give their pitchers, they come out, man, they give their pitchers run support. Like in those first 3 innings, they're tough to put away. They're tough to come back on because they'll start using, you know, a couple inches off the plate, and the strike zone just gets wider for these guys. So they're such good commanders over their pitchers. He's a great player today. Don't get it wrong. His split has showed some previous success. They only batted 158 against him in his first appearance. He had 7 strikeouts, 23 fantasy points. When I look at that, $12,600 for someone that gives you 23 fantasy points, I can't really buy into that. I can't even really say he's a safe play because Arizona, they have some good bats in their lineup. Ketel Marte, Corbin Carroll, you know, Christian Walker. I mean, we've seen the offensive display they had the other night when they put up 16 on the Braves. They're not coming in here timid at all. I mean, Christian Walker put up 46 fantasy points. Perdomo had 16. Marte had 23. Corbin Carroll had 33 fantasy points. Emmanuel Rivera had a home run. So, I mean, this team is not a slouch by any means. You know, if you want to go and look down on it, the Dodgers did take back up the NL West, but they're in a dogfight with San Francisco and the Dodgers in Arizona. San Diego's still trying to get back to 500, but they got a lot to play for. right? They got 54 wins. Braves got 7 more, so it's gonna be a good game, good pitching game, right? Um, I can't say anything bad against Strider. I just don't like his salary. I think it cripples what you can do in that second pitcher slot. I mean, in a $50,000 budget, and he's taking up more than 20% of your salary. All right, so almost 20%, about close. I'm sorry, more like 10, 12% of your salary, whatever that amounts to be. 20%, yeah, you do 10 times 5. So that's about 20% of your damn salary right there, man. So you gotta be really, before you put a lineup in and play around with it, but at the same time, we'll experiment. I'm here in Atlanta. I'm a Braves guy, so let's just put it like I got a Braves hat. So we put him in automatically down to 41.55, right? Gallen 9,400. Now you look at Gallen. I mean, he got 11 wins just like Strider. There's a game within the game here. All right. In his first game against Atlanta, there's a no decision. He gave up a long ball. I mean, he had 6 strikeouts, 1 less than Strider. He gave you 15 fantasy points. Didn't get over 20, but Atlanta's a tough team. I believe it was in Arizona. Yeah. So, as a matter of fact, I think it was actually, it had to be in Arizona. It wasn't Atlanta. So he was at home. In away games, not very good. 5.11 ERA. That is a red flag. He's not as good on the road as he is at home. He's a great pitcher at home. The 10 games he started is 2-4 on the road. So playing in Atlanta, they're on a 4-game losing streak. They need to win. He's not that good on the road. He's a great pitcher, but that could maybe give him some issues right there. He's not pitching in his home ballpark. So he took the loss against Toronto. Didn't look very good. They got on him. 5 innings, gave up 6 hits. A home run, 3 earned runs. Yeah, he had 5. Not his typical strikeouts. Normally, you expect Gallen to get anywhere from like 7 to 12 strikes. His ceiling could be 12, low like 7, right? He can't hit double digits, but Braves are a tough out, man. I won't really suggest playing Gallen today. Knowing what Atlanta's up against, it's kind of tough to imagine them losing 5 in a row. I mean, anything's possible in the sports world, but looking at it from a logical standpoint, I think Sneaker is going to get the guys ready. They got a tough matchup. Gallen got some really good stuff, man. I just don't really see it being a high-scoring game, but I don't think he's going to be able to get a lot of strikeouts in this game. He's got to be real careful at the plate with Olsen, with Murphy, with Acuna. I mean, Albies is great from the left side. Eddie's going to probably be in the lineup, so I don't really see him eclipsing 25 fantasy points today. You'd be hoping he can get through 5 innings today, honestly, because Braves can give everybody problems. As for the Arizona lineup, they're probably going to sport, let's look at it. They're saying probably Perdomo at the top. I do like him as a leadoff hitter. Of course, Ronald is a better leadoff hitter in this one. Cattell, I respect Cattell a lot. I like Corbin Carroll, is a great player. Christian Walker's always giving the Braves fits. Gurriel, he's a very good player. I mean, that top 5 in their order is actually pretty impressive. But again, Strider's just so dominant. His slider and his slider drops so tough, man. His fastball is just so deceiving. He's the perfect fit for them today to try to get back in the winning ways. So their names, they're good. Got 54 wins because they can hit, but they're going against a very good pitcher today. So I don't really like this from an offensive standpoint. I do like pitchers. I'm not gonna say not. If you want to go contrarian and go against the Braves, I mean, go with another 11-win pitcher in Gallen. Go do it. Go ahead and do it. I mean, the Braves are kind of losing, but if I had to pick one or two of that for a win, I would take Atlanta. I think Strider has the upper hand. I think the Braves have a more talented lineup than Arizona. And overall, their metrics speak to that. If any pitcher was to probably get in more problems, it would probably definitely be Gallen. But I really like Gallen throughout the year. I mean, both these guys, they give it their all when they're out there. They're definitely not slouches in any way. But I'm here to give a pick. I'm here to give my honest analysis. And it's a good game. I'm taking a lot of time to dissect this game, but it's kind of hard to really see through this game with two great pitchers on the mound. So I don't really like Strider's salary. I think at some point in the day, Strider walks somebody and then he gives up a 2-run home run. Then you really need him to get like 12 strikeouts, 10 to 12 strikeouts. He's gonna have to be perfect after that. He's shown that he can do that, but we've seen him win against the Mets. The Mets giving him problems. He's had some issues with left-hand batters, and they got some good left-hand batters in their lineup. Even McCarthy is a decent lefty. And Alec Thomas can get on the base from time to time. So, interesting game. I will just break it down and finalize. I mean, if you don't want to pay up for Strider, you can definitely take Gallen as a second option, because he is, if you go on here on DraftKings, and let's pick all pitchers salary wise. I got Strider in there already, so let's put Strider back in there. You got Strider and then Lopez and Gallen. Now trust me, salary means nothing in DraftKings. Like I had Eflin the other day, and Eflin was a top rated pitcher on the slate, and he got blew up. He totally just was in double digit negative fantasy points. So again, you're just going based on the character of the player, his potential, his ceiling. You weigh the option versus his floor. He's going against one of the leading teams in the majors in wins, and they've actually showed a very good. They played very good so far in Atlanta. So I don't think Atlanta wants to get definitely swept by this team in any way. Definitely tune into this game just to kind of go. I mean, I like all the. I'm not going to dissect each hitter here and all that. I do like, from a batting standpoint, I like all the left-hand batters in this. And from both teams, right? I like Matt. I like Albies. I like. You can even maybe take a flyer on Harris if you want to. He hasn't really did much in the series, but he can be a sneaky play. He had a triple in the game yesterday. One hit. He's right at that 9 home run mark. I'm pretty sure he's looking at his numbers. I mean, it's gonna be tough for him to get a home run on Gallen, but take the left-hand bats in this game. I mean, Strider's had issues with lefties also. Corbin Carroll is a lefty. He got 18 home runs, 283. If he gets walked, he can definitely steal. He can give you a lot of issues. I mean, this guy had 33 points on the first game they played. Great player. He had that injury right before the All-Star break, but he's looking pretty healthy right now. I said Christian Walker, he's not a lefty, but he's always played the Braves tough. I don't know what it is. He just likes playing Atlanta, I guess. He's probably one of the few righties that I would recommend in this matchup. Perdomo is a left-hand batter. He's going to definitely get his 4 to 5 at-bats. So, if you want to take the leadoff hitter, then you can definitely play Geraldo. He does a lot for them. They're trusting him up there in that leadoff spot. So, again, he's a switch hitter. So, I know Riley had a good game and that big scoring output. He has a lot of power. Him and Murphy has a lot of power. He's on that 19 home run mark, looking for his 20th home run. He's seeing the ball pretty good right now too. So, I mean, they're the Braves at the end of the day. They don't really need to be really spoken upon. I just know that at the end of the day, with that wind blowing out the right field today, I'll have some left-hand bats in my lineup. So we're gonna do this. We'll put in Strider. Again, Matt Olson. You're gonna pay a lot for these guys, even in a tough matchup. Matt Olson is 6,200. All right. Hasn't really done much in the series. He's due for a good game. Can it come against Gallen? I mean, you saw Gallen. He didn't look good in his last game. So, that could be an ongoing problem for him. So, I mean, Olsen right now, he's playing for something this year. He's had 30 home runs. I mean, he's right, not too far behind Ohtani. I think Ohtani got 35, but this guy's playing great, man. I mean, the average is not that high. He got a lot of power. He's bringing in the runs, .927 OPS. Out of your first baseman, you can't really ask for more than that. So, I mean, if you take him and Strider, and then what I do, I kind of lessen my salary a little bit. I'll go down here and I'm pretty sure Eddie's going to be in the lineup today. He didn't do anything the other night. So I'll get Eddie in there. I think 4,200 for Harris is kind of pushing it a little too much. And he doesn't really have a lot of power. He hasn't had any home runs. He got a tough matchup. But I know Eddie is very good at pulling the ball. So, I mean, looking at them, Murphy is 5,600, right? Ozzy 6,100. I mean, these guys' salaries are still high, even with a tough matchup. Like, DraftKings ain't giving up nothing. You hear me? Alright, and we'll go in and we'll take and again, you got 4,200 for Perdomo. I'm not gonna like play against Strider like that. He's my pitcher, so I'm not gonna roster any Arizona guys. Okay, so I spent a lot of time on that, but that's a very important game for the Braves right there. It's gonna be interesting to see how they come out and play and how they handle Gallen. And then again, it's going to be interesting to see how Gallen rebounds from his last outing. He only gave, his salary was $9,000, and he only gave 9.9 fantasy points. So he's even trying to play for something. He might be hyped going against the Braves today. It might give him some motivation to come out there. So very interesting. Again, when we looked at that game, Atlanta's still a pretty heavy favorite, 66% consensus for them. They're 31-19. They're doing good. I mean, they're a tough team to beat at home. I mean, I just don't understand this number, this over/under of 9. I think it should be more like 7.5. But hey, that's the Vegas guys. Who am I? All right, so we got San Francisco and Cincinnati. You got Abbott for Cincinnati going up against Alex Cobb. Andrew Abbott is a lefty. That kind of maybe might help him. He is kind of their bright spot in that rotation. He's had some very good games. Took a loss against Milwaukee, another divisional game. Milwaukee, and they always play each other tough. He didn't give a lot of strikeouts in that game. Just, I don't know, he just didn't look good. 3 hits, gave up 2 long balls. The home runs are an issue right now. Time you see a pitcher giving up double-digit home runs like that, not double-digit, but like more than a home run a game back to back against the same team he's pressing, he's putting too much pressure on himself. The guy has great stats: 2.46 ERA, 51 strikeouts. He gets San Francisco, and again, San Francisco is very good against right-handers. If you heard my broadcast before, I do respect San Francisco a lot. But with him being a lefty, that helps him a little bit. This is a close consensus here. They're predicting runs here. And 9.5 over under. Cincinnati is a slight favorite, right? Okay, so minus 115. Let's look up Alex Cobb and see what he's been up to. Again, two good pitchers. You know, they both got good stuff, but at the end of the day, DraftKings got a 9 over under. It's kind of weird that in these first two games we're breaking down that over under is at 9, and there's good pitching on the slate. Here they're saying that there's only about 10% chance of rain. The wind is blowing out about 7 to 9 miles to left field, so that's good for righties. Alex Cobb, he had looked like a no decision. He didn't factor into it. Had a decent game, 17.9 points. That was against Pittsburgh. He was on the road. He's on the road again, so let's look at his splits. Road games, not as good as home. He started more road games than home, 10-3 more as a matter of fact. His ERA is kind of high, 4.15 ERA. So that doesn't fare well against the Cincinnati team, who's kind of shocking the league right now by their play. They've fallen in 2 games. They were at the top of the division before the All-Star break, but look at that, lost 10. They're 3-7, so they're kind of going back to their young ways. Bell looks like he's going to have to try to get them back focused. They did win their last game. They're 2.5 back from Milwaukee. Milwaukee is in a pretty tough matchup with Philly right now. So, again, can they make it 2 in a row? They got one of their better pitchers on the mound. Let's look at the expected lineup for San Francisco, and we'll break this down. So, we got Austin Slater, great leadoff hitter. Flores can be very sneaky with his power. Conforto has moved up to the 3rd spot. He's DHing. J.D. Davis is their power guy. Came over from the Mets. They got the catcher Bailey there, switch hitter. Yastrzemski. Schmidt is a very good young bat down there at the bottom of the order, and Brett Wisely. So, Luis Matos. So, you know, they don't have any Jock Peterson in the lineup. Again, Jock is a lefty. Not a lot of power to really speak of outside of J.D. Davis. Austin Slater, I mean, they don't have Thairo Estrada in the lineup, so it's actually, with them not having Estrada and Jock in that lineup, I mean, there's some opportunities for Abbott in this game. I mean, I wouldn't be scared to roll them out there in any way at all, right? Let's go back to Abbott real quick. Let's see if he has any splits. And then he hasn't had any sample size against San Francisco this year. And at home, he's 101. I mean, .74 whip. His bat average is lesser than on the road. ERA better at home. He's giving you more fantasy points. I like him. I mean, I hate to keep saying bounce back game, but I mean, he's got a 4-2 record. I mean, this is a good spot for him to try to get back on the winning side of things. I mean, he handled San Diego very well. He handled Baltimore very well. I mean, at home, see, against Milwaukee at home, he did very good. He was on the road in Milwaukee and got 3.8 fantasy points. So, for 8,800, I mean, his salary has been up, what, 9,500 has been his, 99 actually has been his ceiling. His salary has been getting about $1,100 discount off of what his salary used to be, and he's got a good matchup today. So, yeah, I definitely like Abbott a lot. I might just go ahead and plug him in here. So look at what Strider does. If you put in another decent pitcher above 8,000, now you got $3,100 left to fill out your remaining 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lineups. So, yeah, I know I'm paying a lot for Matt Olson right here. If I take Matt out, that brings me back up to 3,500. So I will think about that. You look at some of the other matchups here. You got Guerrero against Snell, Votto against Cobb, Alonso against Kopech. So the Braves did the Kopech. Torkelson against Greinke. He could be sneaky. And then Flores right there. So Snell's been very, very good this year. I'm pretty sure Votto has seen his share of Cobb. He's a veteran, been in the league for a while. I mean, even Votto's somebody that you could play against Cobb. Didn't do anything in the last game against San Francisco or the first game. Had a great game in the second matchup, but I mean, when he came back, I mean, when he's seen the ball good. All right, 23 against Milwaukee. I mean, the guy is for power, man. So you gotta think, if your player's gonna win, if your pitcher's gonna win, he's gonna need some run support, right? They're gonna have to get him some runs. It's got to come from somewhere, and I'm pretty sure Votto's gonna be batting somewhere in the middle of that order. So you could go down with Votto. You're looking at a difference. Now, Votto hasn't played a whole year. So you're looking at somebody that's averaging 10.2 fantasy points versus Votto, who's averaging 8.8. Again, he hasn't played a whole season yet. I mean, he's kind of a boom or bust kind of player. He's going to give you a great showing, or he's going to be in the dumps. But, I mean, he had 32 against Atlanta. I remember that game. So, I mean, as Cobb doesn't have anything dominating, he relies more on his skill for pitching. So we'll take a little bit of the discount and go with Votto. We'll move off of Olsen. That gives us another $1,300 to put somewhere. Of course, if you look at the rest of Cincinnati's hitters, of course, De La Cruz is another good switch hitter. He's going to be up there, 6,300. Hasn't done much in this series, as you can see there. 0 in the last game. Could this be a breakout game for him? I mean, he's not going to come off the field because he can hit from both sides. 4 strikeouts in that second game. Man, he's just kind of slumping right now. This could be a game where he could possibly break out. I mean, if I put him in the lineup there with Votto, I'm down to 2,700, right? So I'm probably going to have to bite out on my catcher position a lot. There's some other good, again, Cincinnati, man, their salaries are high. McClain, 5,800. I mean, these salaries on DK are ridiculous. I mean, he was lights out in those first 2 games. He looking like a really good play. Again, they're scoring the offense in this game. It's at 9.5, so there's gonna be some fireworks in this game. I think it's gonna come from Cincinnati's side. India, again, good looking hitter when he's on. I mean, I like Cincinnati's bats in this game. I mean, they're gonna try to come out here and try to win. You're talking about San Francisco, what they're playing for. I mean, these guys are 8-2 in their last 10. These guys are on a roll too. They're just quietly playing well. Like I said, I tell everybody, I respect San Francisco. They're a well-managed, well-coached team. They have a very well-balanced team. They have some good veterans on their pitching staff. They have some very good hitters. They're good contact hitters. They got a good mix of contact hitters and power hitters. They're a sneaky team, man. To look, they don't move tied up with Arizona. They're on their game and a half back from the Dodgers. So this could be a very competitive game. This could be kind of like one of the games the Braves had with Arizona the other night, where they're scoring 9.5. So, should you be afraid to play Abbott because of that over-under? No, not necessarily, because at the end of the day, if he gets into trouble, like in this game here, he gave up 3 earned runs, right? But he got you 10 strikeouts. He still came away with 25 fantasy points, which is above his FPPG, so you can live with that. So anytime you have a strikeout pitcher, he might get in a jam, but he can help his own self without even having to rely on his defense. by just striking out the side, even if he walks the first 2 batters. So yeah, man, this is a great game for San Francisco. Look at all the ILs. They got Haniger's on the injured list, Wade Jr.'s out, Estrada's on the IL, J.D. Davis is DTD. Peterson might, he probably might get the day off, and he might pinch hit or come in the game if they switch it over to a righty. You might see him come back in. But not big names here. San Francisco never carried that, but they're a very good IQ team, very well coached. They execute very well. Conforto and Yastrzemski, they're tough outs. Even going against lefties, they're still good. But I like the matchup for Abbott today. Let's look at Slater. Slater, he's batting .333. I mean, I like him. I like him a lot. He does a good job leading off. They only really put him in versus lefties. You can roll him out there, man, if you want. It's a lot of runs projected in this game. I'm not totally going to be biased and say it's going to be all Cincinnati. I mean, Abbott is a young guy. He can make mistakes. He still has a lot to learn. He's going to rely on his brute strength and his abilities to get him through. And he could definitely make some mistakes. If you look at, I think Conforto has a little bit more power than Yaz. But, I mean, Shrimps didn't do anything in his last game. But let me look at Conforto real quick. And, yeah, I mean, out of the two, I definitely say Conforto is the better if you want to take a lefty-on-lefty matchup. Let's give you a little bit of SS action here. Because we keep talking about all this lefty-lefty, righty-lefty, and lefty batters. So sometimes I like to go kind of in depth with you guys. And let's kind of test it and see what the hell is going on here. So Conforto right now versus lefties, not as good. You can see he's better against righties. Now in the daytime, he's batting .212, .290, .700 OS. He's got a lot of home runs during the daytime. Eight home runs. He sees the ball well, but overall versus lefties, it's not the best numbers. I mean, he does have some home runs, which is good. Not as much as versus right. Way more at bats against righties than lefties, right? Way more sample size, but that's kind of a gamble, right? YSTRZEMSKI. And we'll do yes mics for you. Because I know there's some Giants fans out there. I know there's going to be some people on this game. So versus lefty, Yastrzemski, .196. Not good average. Again, not as much at bats versus lefty is right. He does have 3 home runs like Conforto. So he can hit. You know, it's just his metrics are better against righties. So daytime, he has 5 home runs, .821, 490 OPS, .490 slugging. Average both these, you know, Giants do play a lot of day games. So their lefties are kind of 50-50. I won't count them out, but I think Abbott still has a better advantage on them because their averages don't look very well versus lefties, and their power numbers don't look very well. So this game, man, all I can say is just, you know, if you want to play Slater, you're going to have to try to probably back him up with somebody in the lineup. If you're going to think they're going to roll some runs out on Abbott, I mean, if you go with Slater, I know Flores is very good against lefties. You definitely want to play that 1-2-3. 1-2-4. And then maybe put Yastrzemski in there. So you can probably like a 1-2-4-6 and roll the dice. if you're gonna go to San Francisco, if you're gonna take, but I mean the righties, I like all the righties. It's, I like Schmidt, Slater, Flores, Davis. Not too much a catcher. Not certain. Let's see. I mean Patrick Bailey. I know I'm talking about a pitcher here, right? But I mean in daily fantasy, as long as they're swinging the bat, man, they're relative, man. I mean, the coach got him there in the middle of the lineup for some reason. He's there for a reason, man. I mean, anytime you see him in the middle order, man, you can't turn your eye to him because they could be part of the RBI rally. So, Patrick Bailey, during the daytime, 278, 291, he does .735 OPS. Versus lefties, 300. I mean, look at that, .939 OPS, slugging .578. So he hits very good against righties, right? His salary is $3,800. So Bailey's definitely in play there. All right, so I like Abbott in the comeback. Alex Cobb, man, again, his away games, I'll fade them. I don't really like that. Cincinnati, when they get on the roll and they start hitting that ball, they're tough, man, to put away. He doesn't have any sample size against them this year, and he's going into Cincinnati, and the weather's looking pretty good. I mean, I would fade Alex today. Those left-hand batters gonna probably give him a little issue in their lineup, man. Honestly, Votto and De La Cruz, they in my lineup. I'm gonna roll with them guys. Okay, so I like Cincinnati, man. You could probably roll out that metric I did with San Francisco and see how that goes, man. If you want to play contrarian, again, the consensus is kind of close, -150. I mean, 51% for Cincinnati, 49% for San Francisco. It's a roll. I mean, the consensus is a roll of dice. Vegas got it like it's a toss-up, so it's going to be kind of who wants it more. I mean, both teams are still chasing for first place in their division. This is going to be another competitive game, just like the Braves. Two good games right there. All right, we got Milwaukee and Philly. We got Taijuan Walker and Corbin Burns. I think everybody knows what Corbin Burns did in his previous matchup. I mean, he went off 40 fantasy points at that. I mean, he had a great game. That's a Cy Young Corbin Burns right there, man, pitching that kind of performance. That was against who we just broke down, against Cincinnati. The guy had 13 strikeouts in 6 innings, 102 pitches. That's what it took him. Now, he's going against Philly, and we know Philly had a great year last year, but the Braves are showing out this year, and they lost their last game, and they need to win. Braves are going to try to look for a win, so if they lose today against Corbin and the Braves pick up a win today, they're going to be 10-0, but that's the hole they dug themselves in, right? So in that last game, it was not an outrageous game scoring wise. It was 5-3. The Brewers did have 10 hits, right? Contreras had 3 hits in that game. They got some unpredicted production from Blake Perkins. He had 2 hits in that game, 23 fantasy points. Nothing real spectacular from the pitching. Colin Ray gave up 2 runs, right? Christopher Sanchez, it was kind of a mediocre pitching day. Milwaukee, they're 7-3 in their last 10, man. They're playing good baseball. Let's see what the consensus has to say. I'm not a big fan of Taijuan Walker. I never really liked a guy like that since he was pitching with the Mets, and he's kind of bounced around the league. They're giving Philly minus 120. I do not understand that. I have no idea how after Corbin Burns came out such a great performance that you giving Philly the nod in this. Can someone explain that to me? So you already know where I'm going with this. So split wise, he hasn't had any matchup with them this year. If you look at his game log, his last 3 games, he's come on. I mean, he's looking like he's pushing for a good second half of the season. 2 good games against Cincinnati, 1 at home, 1 on the road, and then he had Pittsburgh, dominated them. I mean, he's had a couple of issues, but no one is perfect. But when this guy's spot on, he's hard to beat. He's hard to beat. So let's look at his away games. He has actually better record on the road than at home. 19.6 fantasy points. 1.02 whip, 0.189 batting average. His ERA is 3.39. So for 8,500 and based on his ceiling, what he can do, you gotta go in fearless with him. I'm gonna just keep it 100. Like, you gotta go in fearless with him. You gotta go in fearless with Corbin Burns. They're looking like they got Schwarber, Turner, Castellanos, Harper. So let's kind of look at some of their bats here for Philly. Again, this guy, man, his stuff is some of the best stuff when he's on. I mean, they didn't do much anything yesterday. They put up 3 runs. The way they scored yesterday was Schwarber single and Marsh scored. Schwarber had a single, two RBI single, and it appears like that's pretty much was the bulk of what they did. Oh, and Castellanos had a home run. So, I mean, when you're going against a dominant pitcher like that, man, like, it's kind of hard to pay up for these guys. You know, Harper, I mean, he's been lukewarm since he's come back from his injury. He had a good game against San Diego there, and he did have a good run there in that Tampa Bay, Washington going against his old team. But Milwaukee's been handling him, man. They've been handling. Let's look at the over-under in this. Again, I don't really understand. We got 8.5 live, 9. I don't understand the why Walker is why they even favored this game. His salary is $7,300. Again, they haven't played. They haven't pitched against him. I mean, he hasn't hurt anybody. He's been getting lucky, man. He's getting run support in his games. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This man won 7 games in a row, man. He got 11 wins. I know he got 11 wins, man, but I don't know. I guess they're not really respecting what Milwaukee's doing right now. I mean, Milwaukee don't jump out to you as like a great like team on paper, man. But they're like San Francisco, man, and they're not at the top of their division for no reason. I'm not gonna sit up here and bullshit nobody. And I think they can get. I think Taijuan Walker can definitely get taken advantage of in this game. I don't want to sound like I'm riding Corbin Burns too much. I know Philly got some talent in their lineup. But I don't see how they're gonna dominate Burns in this game. I don't fear Philly. I mean, their record is what it is for a reason. They're not playing as good as they were last year, and a lot of people have seen some chinks in their armor. You know, Harper is not. He's not in full form. Turner was making some noise early in the year, but I mean, 249 average for Trey Turner. Come on, bro. I'm not gonna pay $5,900 for that. I'm gonna keep it 1,000. I mean, his log is looking for what they're paying him and what we know of him. Like, he's had some good games, but it's kind of spotty. You don't know when he's gonna have them. And that's a lot of money to pay for Trey Turner in a lucrative position, a shortstop like that. Now, I do predict him to get a hit. Even when he gets on base, he's not as aggressive as he used to be. 4 games in a row, he didn't even give you a stolen base. And he's always been considered as one of the top base stealers in the league. So I'm going to break these guys down by salary, okay? If you look at Corbin Burns, what we're going to look at is he'll get in problems if he starts walking people. And you can see he does have some issues here when he walks people. In the Cleveland series, he walked 2. This series, he had 2, and then he had 2 long balls. He stayed away from the long ball in the last game. Only won against Cincinnati at home, and then he didn't give it. Well, he's not giving up the long ball, and he's not putting like a lot of people on base. When I say like 2 or more, so that's been his issue. Walking people. So he's on right now. I think he's locked in, man. I think he knows that he doesn't need to do that at all. Let's look at some of these batters. So Trey, in his last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games, struck out 3 times. That's not bad. Harper, 3 times in his last 5 games. No home runs though. No power, no home runs. Just got to hit. You got to break this stuff down and look at it. The team, they're not on any, 5 times in his last, 2, 4, 6, 9 times in his Real Muto, 9 times in his last 3 games. I'll be honest with you, Philly got a tough matchup today. Burns is holding his own on the road. I don't really like anybody from them, honestly. I mean, if you're going to pick one player, Castellanos has been known. He's been one of the more better extra base hitters in the league. I know he went deep yesterday. He's going to get a lot of RBI opportunities. Go back with him. I said go with who's seen the ball, who's doing something, right? So that would be Schwarber. He's been on fire. I'll go with Schwarber. His average just sucks, but he has great power. I would take Schwarber and Castellano, man. You can't really roster too many of these guys, so their salary is kind of up there too. In this game, not really any chance of rain until 2 o'clock, but that's not going to be any issue. The wind is blowing in slightly at 3 miles, so not really any weather there. Should be a nice day at the park. Let's look at this here. So if you look at Philly's lineup, they got Schwarber, who I like. Turner didn't do anything in the game yesterday. He's funny because he can slap the ball, and with his speed, he can get log out a hit or something. Look at that. They're moving Castellano up in the 3rd spot and Harper to clean up. So they know their hit needs something. Real Muto has been bad. Brandon Marsh, I do like him. But even Bryson Stott. Alec Bohm. Let's do one. Let's see what Alec Bohm is talking about. Versus alrighty. It's a lot of good studs on the mound today. They're coming around the rotation on these teams. These are like their top guys that are pitching. So a lot of good pitching today. So Alec Bohm is actually a lot better versus lefty. Not too good against righty. He got six of his 9 home runs against lefties. Right. Let's look at Castellanos. We already know about Harper and Schwarber versus righties. We pretty much know that their power, they can do what they gotta do. So versus righty, look at that. Castellanos very good. 11 home runs, 791 OPS. So most of his home runs are actually, ironically, he's better against righties. I was about to say, I'd probably actually roster Castellanos again. 4,300 for him is not bad at all. And he's batting right there in that third spot, right before Harper. So he's going to get something to hit, because if he gets bottled up in the top of the lineup, he's not going to want to go against Harper. And then, even though Real Muto hasn't been doing very well, still, that middle of the order, and then coming up with a lefty and stop, that's going to be a very strategic matchup going on right there. Let's look up Real Muto. And let's see how he's doing against righties. Against Birdman, I say, when he's on, he's on. I mean, he can definitely do what Taijuan Walker's doing and log off 4 or 5 games in a row. So Real Muto is actually a little bit better against righties. 7 home runs. Slugging about the same. Everything here is about the same, just slightly a little bit more. Let's look at his day stats. 4.416 slugging, average mediocre, .688 OPS, 5 home runs in the day versus 6 at night. Pretty decent numbers. Nothing to really go at, but look at his situation. It's not very good. Bases loaded, he's batting 200. Runners in scoring position, .189. No home runs to show for it. Runners in scoring position with 2 outs, not good. So, I don't know. I mean, when a player like Burns is giving you such a high performance like that, it's kind of, well, damn, what the hell he's going to give you now, right? So, what's the worst he could give you, right? So, I mean, I'm looking at anywhere from 20 to 27 points for Burns a day. And I mean, for 8,500, you take that. So he's a strikeout pitcher. So go to team rankings, right? Could go to StatMuse, but let's see where they are. So right now, Philadelphia, they're down there, man. Cleveland doesn't strike out a lot. Washington doesn't. These are the teams at the top. Philly, they're down here at 24. They strike out a lot, right? Milwaukee strikes out a lot, and that's that Cincinnati-Milwaukee matchup, right? The Braves got Arizona today. Let's see where they're at. Arizona, they don't strike out a lot, so that's something to think about, even with having Strider in your lineup. But again, Strider, he's kind of an anomaly at times. This is always very good to look at, when you're picking your pitchers. See which team strike outs a lot, where they rank a lot. And then you wonder why when you put players in your lineup, they're not bringing nobody in, because you don't even know where the team ranks in strikeouts. So I like Burns, man. Definitely like Burns. I mean, I could even honestly get bold and put him in there instead of Abbott. I think I might just end up doing that, honestly. But we'll leave it like that for now. I mean, Abbott, the reason why I like Burns a little more experience than Abbott. And San Francisco, they just surprise you how they come out with these wins, man. These guys surprise you, man. Me being a Braves fan, I would show love to see Philly get beat up on today. I sure love to see them fools get beat up on today. This is a tough one, man. Let's go back, look at team strike. Let's see what San Francisco, right? So we got the Giants. Giants are down there. Look at that. They're 28. They strike out a lot. So we'll keep it that way. Because the thing is, there's more power in Philly's lineup than San Francisco lineup. Okay? So we move on to the next game. As for the bats for Milwaukee, if you're going to go Burns, you definitely got to put Yelich in there. Yelich has been solid all year, pretty solid, batting at 282, gives a little bit of everything. He always tries to make contact, even, he's just an all-effort kind of guy. Adames, another good player. Adames is due to go deep. I always keep an eye on him. He's a big catalyst in their lineup. Play Adames. Contreras has been playing very good. If you look at their lineup, Yelich, Contreras, Adames, Tapia, Caratini is a switch hitter. I don't really Terrain. He strikes out a lot, but if they're gonna get anything, it's gonna be the top of the order. Yelich, Contreras. You have to do a 1, 2, 3, probably 5, 6 lineup. I like Tapia. I like his speed. I like his ability to hit opposite field. He can hit singles, doubles, triples. It's a good contact hitter. So, yeah, a Brewers stack is definitely in play. Go ahead and stack him, man, for real. I know Taijuan Walker has had a good record. He's doing good, but he's not invincible in any way, especially going up against a league-leading team in Milwaukee. If it was a different team like Detroit or Oakland or something, I might say differ, or Kansas City. You might have thrown the White Sox in there. That would have been maybe a little bit more favor for him, but I'm not buying into Walker like that. I don't know what this minus 120 is. Again, plus 100 is still it's not bad. It could be worse. Like 170 for Arizona, or 135 or 160. It's kind of a close, so don't let it fool you. Again, the 64% or 36%, I'm not buying into that nonsense at all. All right, we got San Diego and Toronto. We'll try to pick it up a little bit here. We got Bassett on the mound and Blake Snell too. Again, these are aces we're looking at. All right, so Snell, ERA on a 3. Don't let his win-loss record fool you. San Diego was terrible out of the gate. He wasn't getting a lot of run support. He's picked it up here, man, here in the last few games. Had a decent game against Philly. Didn't give up in the last 3 games. Hasn't given up any home runs at all. I really like his matchup. I like Toronto, but Toronto's just very disappointing. They can't bring runners in. I don't know what their issue is. They're up here in the top 6 in strikeouts, but they make contact, but they hit it to the defense. They don't strike out a lot, but they hit the ball weakly, or they hit ground balls, or they're hitting in the ground plays, and that plays right into Snell. If we look at the consensus today, 56% for Toronto, 44%. Again, I don't know what that's about. I don't know how Toronto, consensus-wise. Now Vegas got a minus 120, which I agree with. I think San Diego should be favored in this game. How the team's playing? San Diego, they're doing good. They're 2 winners in their last 2. They're fighting to get back up there near the top. And 6-4 in their last 10. Toronto, once again, tough division that they're in. That they're only 5.5 games back of Baltimore. They're 7-3. They're losers of their last 2, and they're 7-3. So they've been playing good ball. Going into the break and coming out the break. They gotta. I don't know if they can get back in the winning ways today. They got a tough matchup against Snell, I can tell you that. And San Diego is trying to win. This is another good game. Another good game to see how Snell holds his own against a team that does have power. Bichette, Guerrero, Chapman, Springer. They're all names, but they just haven't really put it together consistently. So he's at home. At home, he's actually done very well. He has a winning record, 9-5. ERA under 3, 2.47 at home. It's 5-1 at home. Good home record. And maybe that's what the consensus is seeing. If you look at his log, he had Arizona pretty good, but 7 hits. But, he didn't give up the long ball. He only gave up 2 earned runs. Got some strikeouts, not a lot. Got some run support. Detroit got to him. White Sox kind of got to him. Those 2 games he gave up the long ball. And San Diego is capable of taking him out the park. And they got some good left-hand batters in their lineup. So, by no means this is a shoe-in game for Bassett. Let's look at over-under. And they got a 9 in this game. I can see that. Do I like Bassett to get to it? 7,500. His salary is not showing like dominant or anything. Last 3 games, 5-4-5, not getting a lot of strikeouts, right? And Toronto is up there. They're ranked 6th. They don't strike out a lot. So not a good matchup for him. I'm going to just keep it simple. Vegas likes them slightly. That's not good for Bassett. The only thing he got going for him is that he pitches good at home. So let's see who he's going to beat at home. He's beating Arizona at home, San Francisco at home. He had a no decision against his old team, Oakland. He beat Houston at home. He beat the Yankees at home and Atlanta. So he's actually beat some good teams at home. This, again, that impresses me. That impresses me, guys. I ain't going to sit up here. He's definitely somebody that you can... It's not looking good for him going up against San Diego, but the way he's pitching at home, that's pretty damn impressive. Now, they lost their last game, and the Blue Jays didn't score nothing at all. Darvish dominated them yesterday, so to see Toronto, who was 7-2 in that record I gave you, what did I tell you? They were 7-3 in their last 10. Can we honestly say that they're gonna get dominated or shut out or dominated 2 straight games in a row? Well, they got an uphill battle here. They do. How are they gonna generate runs against Snell? He's 9,000, man. His salary is more than Bassett. I mean, this guy had 11 strikeouts against the Mets, 10 against Pittsburgh, 11. He's a lefty. I mean, he is throwing into some of the right-hand bats, but again, Toronto, man, they're just they're not this man play. They're not. He's a veteran. He knows how to move his pitches. If you learned anything from what Darvish did yesterday, it's gonna be another long day for Toronto, man. I do kind of want to look. They got some interesting names here. I do kind of want to pick out some players. Okay. Let's look at let's see what Vlad looks like here in the daytime. And let's see. Again, this guy should have a lot more home runs. 14 home runs. I think he took down the home run derby, but in real-time play, he's just been not as good. During the daytime, Vlad is .417 slugging, 271 average. He got 4 home runs during the day out of his 14, 10 at night. Versus left-handers, look at this. He has no home runs versus lefties at all. Alright. So that should tell you a little bit of something there. And let's see if I can... I wish I could have put that up, but I can't, right? So, again, that's some insight for Guerrero there. Let's see what Juan Soto splits look like. And we'll do Tatis. Daytime. Soto, .835. OPS, .430. Got slugging. 5 home runs in the day, 12 at night. Versus righties, 14 of his 17 home runs against righties. 1.008 OPS. So Soto looks good. I mean, against right-hand pitching. I mean, you know, the game can start off and him and Tatis can go back to back. You know what I'm saying? So let's look at Tatis Jr. Let's look at his splits. Let's see how he looks. Yeah, again, when I do these breakdowns, you know, it's a difference between seeing the ball in the daytime versus the nighttime. You gotta understand that. So versus righties, look at that, 11 home runs, .801. So he bats right. So he actually got more home runs versus righties than lefty. You would think a right-hand batter, most of their power comes against lefty, but that's a good 1-2 punch right there. If you want to start your algorithm out with Tatis and Soto, I know Bassett was good at home, but these are all-star players. It's a one-on-one matchup here. All the other stuff goes out. It's mono versus mono. During the daytime, he's .808 OPS, .463. He got a few home runs, 4 home runs there. 11 doubles. He's taking less at bats during the day than night, of course. Not bad numbers. His situation with runs in scoring position, .815, bases loaded, very good. This is another good player when he has runners on. Even when no one is on base, this guy has batted .064 with no one on base. And we know, as a whole, Toronto's issue this year, while they're not further along, has been their pitching with Manoah and Bassett and a lot of their other guys. So, I like Snell. I think you can see right there. I mean, let's look at Bogarts. Hasn't done much there. For some reason, his average hasn't been bad because he started off the season terrible. But he's one of the players. He's kind of a utility guy. He's kind of a boom or bust. I think definitely if you want to roll the dice on Bassett today, you can. I mean, you definitely can. I mean, San Diego is kind of like they're kind of like St. Louis. Got a lot of great names up and down the lineup, but and even like Toronto, their adversary today, they struggle at times to bring runners in. This is going to be kind of an interesting game, but I do see a slight favor for San Diego. I think they're the more talented team. They got a better matchup on paper, and they got a better pitcher on the mound at that. Bassett hasn't really been giving up the home run too much lately, but again, he's not like a real consistent like power pitcher. He'll probably average around 5 strikeouts. He does enough to kind of hold his own. He hasn't lost a game since June 13th. So he's probably one of their better pitchers in their lineup. But he does give up a lot of hits though, and that's not good against San Diego. 7 hits against Arizona, and then 9 against Detroit, 6 against the White Sox. Like he's barely getting through it. Like he's kind of on that Mendoza line. You know, he had a good game against San Francisco, but before that, 6.5, 0.3, minus 6.5. I think today is one of them days where he might have something coming his way. I may roster a player or two out of that. I'll come back to that in my lineup. I don't really think there's much affordability. Gary Sanchez is $3,900. Cronenworth $4,000. Kim $4,300. Machado is up there. You know, Bogarts are gonna pay money. Like they're pretty high salary too. Is there anyone that can maybe give him some issues? Let's see. I'll look at one because you want to look at power here. If you want somebody who can bring runs in, if you don't spend up on the team where everybody's salary high, you want someone who can bring the runs in or can put a ball over the fence. And that's going to be Bo, Bichette, and Guerrero. Maybe Springer, but he hasn't been out the gate doing that great. But look at this. 67 at-bats, 3 home runs. Most of his power has been against righties. Now he has 338 at-bats versus 67 at-bats. Bo Bichette does. So slugging is not bad. He just doesn't have enough sample size against lefties. So, I mean, you could probably roster him. He's a very hard contact hitter. I mean, regardless of who's up there, he gives it all. And he doesn't cheat on his swing, I can tell you that. During the daytime, he's batting 296, .799 OPS, 6 home runs in the daytime. That's pretty good. 10 at night, slightly better at night. So probably get roster him. Let's see what George Springer does. I've been rostering George here and there. He's been letting me down, man. I don't know if age is catching up with him or injuries, or he's just maybe worn down from playing that leadoff position. But versus lefty, not looking good for George either. 2 home runs. Daytime metrics, now that's not bad. 324. He's got 4 home runs in the daytime, so he's an early riser. He looks good during the daytime. Nobody on, nobody out, looking good. Runs in scoring position, pretty mediocre. He got 250, .632, bases loaded, not good. He probably doesn't get a lot of those because he's a leadoff hitter. After a 1-0 count, so if Blake gets behind, he's good. So he's kind of 50-50. It's just not looking good versus lefty, man. It's just 235 average, just slugging is terrible. The only thing he got going for him is that he looks good in the daytime. 142 at bats. That 324 average is nice. So if you look at their lineup today, it's if you want to run something with them, they got Merrifield there batting second. You can see they're loading up all righties. The top 8 hitters are all righties. So they want to give Snell as much as issues they can have. I like the first 3 hitters there based on kind of what we looked at. Let's see if Matt has anything to say in that. Again, Matt has been he's not been the guy that Toronto thought he was going to be. I mean, I like Matt, but power numbers aren't there this year. His average is decent, but he's got so much more. He should have way more than 40 RBIs batting in that position. Now look at this. Matt's batting 355 against lefties, 1.0 OPS, 3 home runs, and only 62 at bats. During the daytime, decent numbers. 500 slugging, good OPS at .863, 6 home runs. Situational wise, with nobody on, he does good. .945. Runs in scoring position. That 229 average needs to be a little bit better. This is a problem they're having. Running in scoring position 2 outs, .189 average. He's not been doing a job bringing runners in, man. And that's the issue I've been having with Matt. And when I play him, he's just not bringing runners in. His metrics does look good against lefties, though. I will say that. Not too bad during the daytime. He got 6 home runs there. I like that OPS and slugging versus lefties. So if you're looking at the lineup, he's going to be probably Springer, Merrifield, Bichette, Chapman. At the top of the lineup again, man. Top of the lineup, So, between their 2 catchers, they sometimes can get off, but Snell's very good. I don't really see anybody really at the bottom of the order doing too much damage outside of the top 6 guys. Again, I like Snell. I like all San Diego right there, but I'm just trying to give you a little bit of juice for those who are Toronto fans and may want to go contrarian. If you want to go contrarian, drop Bassett in there based on his home metrics and get, mix in that top 6 of the order in whatever way if you want to stack them. But, I mean, most people have not been having a lot of success against Snell. You be really fucking rolling the dice by stacking against Snell. Let's just keep it 100, man. This dude is a 271 ERA. Look at this shit, man. Are you fucking kidding me? So yeah, man, I like San Diego. All right. Let me see if I can refresh this. Let me see if I can get an expected lineup. Okay, here we go. So we're playing Carpenter's in the lineup and Grisham. Alright, so let's go. Let's look at Grisham's salary. Hopefully they ain't trying to 2,400. So we're gonna roll Grisham in there against Bassett. I gotta find some cheap bats in here to kind of flush my lineup out. I'm gonna leave Votto in there. Man, I will put Matt Carpenter in there for real. Honestly. Let's see. Carpenter, he's batting. You know what? He's DHing today. He's gonna be sneaky, so we gotta find some cheap bats from somewhere. So we put Carpenter in there. That brings me back up. He's a veteran, just like Votto. He can hit. He can hit the ball defense if he gets something to hit. His average is not good, but I mean, Matt Carpenter can definitely be a silent assassin on the right night. I mean, he had 22 here against Boston, 16 against Miami. So he just in there to do one thing: bring runs in. All right. We got White Sox and the Mets. Let's look at the consensus here. We got Jose Quintana. Interesting. Wow. And then we got Kopech. So we know Kopech in his last outing, I think he went up against the Braves and they got to him pretty good, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Minus 10.1. They jumped all over this guy. And it's someone with 97 strikeouts. He probably will go over 100 strikeouts on the year in this game. He gets the Mets. Again, the Mets are trying to stick in there with Atlanta. It's not an easy task. 16.5 games out. They're below 500. The White Sox ain't really doing too much better. They're 13.5 back. Look at that, man. They're 17 games under 500. Losers of their last 2. Mets are on a little streak, 3-game winning streak. Kopech, Quintana, I think Quintana's okay. Cause I'm surprised when I saw him because he hadn't pitched all year. So, and nothing on Quintana, man. You know how these guys are when they come off the 60-day injured list, man. That's a long time. So I would actually, man, I'm gonna keep this 100, man. I'll go with some of the talented batters. I'm telling you, Kopech, and I mean Quintana's gonna definitely be, he's gonna be rusty, man. Robert Jr. is very expensive. Burger's been playing good. I know the team is rooting for him, and they don't want to see him getting roughed up coming back out there. But I'm gonna be keeping 100. I'll get some Chicago bats. Let's see if I got a lineup in for them. Yep. So their catcher is Grandal, Jake Burger, Jimenez, Andrews. I mean, you can throw Andrews in there. He's a one-off. Tim Anderson has not been playing very well this year. You guys know how I feel about Timmy. 3,900. Again, I don't know what his issue is. I mean, he had a couple good games here. He didn't do nothing yesterday. 3,900. Let's give him a shot. We're going to throw him in there against Quintana. I don't think Quintana's stuff's going to be overpowering at all. I think it's going to be kind of rusty. Let's see what Timmy's looking like on the road. He's actually done a little bit more justice on the road, more stolen bases. He's in for a better OPS, better slugging, better average on the road. 3,900 is awesome. I mean, last year Timmy was like $5,000, but he's been underachieving this year. So we got 3,300. I don't really like Rondell batting from the right side. I do like Berger now. Berger can but I got De La Cruz in there already. But I do like Berger, man. I mean, I like he got 21 home runs on the year. I like this matchup against Quintana. And then Berger had a great series against Atlanta on top of that. I mean, if Quintana comes in and start walking players, man, it's gonna be a long day for him. They don't probably expect him to go more than 3 or 4 innings a day. I know Kopech is pretty anxious to get back on the mound after what the Braves did to him. It said when he was reinstated from the 60-day injury list, Quintana had been in line to start Tuesday, but he instead made his Mets debut 2 days later, after the brain trust decided he could benefit from some additional rest. See, that's a red flag there. Build up to 4.1 innings and 78 pitches in the 5th and final minor league rehab starting at 8 on July 8th, so he's not expected to face any major limitations. Workload standpoint, when he takes the hill Thursday, the veteran southpaw is coming off a resurgent 2022 campaign split between the Cardinals and Pirates, in which he posted 2.93 ERA and 1.21 WHIP. That was last year. We're talking about this year. He's coming in right after the All-Star break, so good luck with that. So we've bought down. I'm going to test him today. I don't know really what was going on with Kopech, honestly, in that game versus the Braves, but that's the Atlanta Braves for you. He gets that game, man, was in Atlanta, so that kind of inflated his away stats. But I don't know, man. This guy, 3-8 record, but he's playing on a team that's underachieving, man. He can't get no run support. They didn't even score any runs in that game. So, I mean, that's been the issue when he's taking them out. Look at these games: 2-3, 0-9, 2-4, 1-5. The guy ain't getting no run support, man. I mean, he was doing good at early. He had a 41 clip against Kansas City, 21 against Minnesota, but he's had some really bad lows. He had some good ceiling games, and he had some really bad lows. So, going against a team like the Mets, who are they are always in the tabloid. They have one of the biggest pay salaries in the league. It's not looking good for the Mets. So they got to come out and play with some resurgence here. They got Alonso. He got 20. He hasn't went deep in a while. This might be a breakout game for him. I mean, based on what the Braves did, I would tell you, man, put a stack in there, man. Put a Mets stack in there if you want. Get some lefties in there. And let's do something kind of special for you guys. So let's see what he's struck. I mean, again, it's hard really breaking down trying to explain something about what the Braves do so well, because honestly, man, the Braves are a machine team, man. Like they're very disciplined at the plate. But we're gonna go back on DK Live and look at the 14th and see where he actually struggled at against the Braves in that game. In their box score, I mean, Acuna didn't have any hits, but he had 11 fantasy points. Albies had 2 hits. Matt Olson took him deep. Michael Harris had 2 hits. So the scoring came. Olsen had that grand slam that put him under. Another lefty. Then Albies hit a sacrifice fly against Tukey, but they jumped on him early, man. That's what the Braves did. I mean, let's see here. So in the bottom of the first, he walked Acuna, and he stole second base. Albies got hit with a pitch. Then Riley walked. He loaded the bases, and Olsen took him deep. And he was at -11. Then he walked Murphy, and then he just had control issues that game. Albies got a hit in the bottom of the second. He got out advancing. He struck, and then they took him out. I mean, he had a bad game. Let's just say that. He didn't even get through. He only got through .2. They pulled him in .2 innings. So just scratch that from your memory if you're him, right? That was a bad game. Really bad game. Really, really, really bad game. Honestly, really bad game. Really, really bad game. So he's 7,000. I mean, this could be a real sneaky game, honestly. You know, let's look at the consensus in this game. I may kind of running my mouth. I'm still kind of in awe, but they got -155 for a pitcher that's been on the disabled list for 60 days. I mean, Vegas is real bold, man. It's a 9 over under. I don't really like that, honestly. I think Chicago got an opportunity to win this game. I mean, Quintana, he ain't shown nothing. The Mets ain't playing that great either. Where the hell they got that from? But the consensus says 69%. And I think the reason why it's that because Kopech had such a bad game against the Braves. He got exposed in that game. But that's just a short sample size. I mean, the guy's got good stuff. This could be one of them anomaly games where he just comes out and just of a flip of a coin show a whole different performance from what he did against the Braves. The Mets are good, but they're not no Atlanta Braves. They just keep it 100. They're 5 games under 500. So he's a righty, and there are some lefties in their lineup that can maybe give him some issues, right? So what I'm gonna do for you guys, for you Mets guys out there who might be trying to load up on him. I just had the strikeouts too. So the Mets are up there. They don't strike out very much, so they're 5th. So that doesn't bode well for Kopech because Atlanta's up there too. They're contact teams. So let's look at Lindor's splits. Let's see how Lindor bats during the daytime. So again, versus righties, and I believe Kopech is a righty. Yeah, he is a righty. During the daytime, not that great. 210 average, .45 slugging. He got 8 home runs. More during the night, a little bit better during the night. Kind of equal. Does good against righties. 11 home runs, batting .231. .439. Not bad against lefties either. Okay. Let's look at Brandon Nimmo splits. Lindor, he's going to get opportunities. He's definitely someone that will say roster. He's going to pay for him, but if they're going to be in the mix of anything, he's your guy. Look at this Nimmo, 14. All his home runs have come against right-hand hitters. You know, so Nimmo's definitely a good player. During the daytime, 290 average, .818 ops, slugging .435. I'm sorry, .472 slugging, .868 ops, 299 batting average. He likes to play in the daytime. So their expected lineup is Nimmo, great leadoff hitter. Lindor, They got Vogelbach in there. That's their expected lineup. We don't really know yet. But I'm liking, let's look up McNeil and Sterling Marte also. I like Nemo, guys. Let's see. Let's look up McNeil, then we'll look up, we know Vogelbach is in there just for his power. He's going solely on his home run here, nothing else. He's not fast. He might not go for a double if he hits the ball hard off the fence. He ain't got no speed. He's just all power. McNeil, batting 260 versus righty, 321 OBP. Slugging not that great. He's got 3 home runs, 21 RBIs versus righties. He says better metrics there. No home run versus lefties. He's got 10 doubles, 14 extra base hits. Batting 260. During the daytime, not too great average, not too great slugging. So he's just, you gotta roll the dice. Now when you look at it, you gotta see, well, what does he do with the bases loaded? 500, running in scoring position with 2 outs, not bad. We like that. He actually does good with bringing runs in. 338 average. So that's what you're looking for situation wise. If you're gonna take a flyer on somebody where versus the pitching is not that kind of mediocre, not a lot of power, what does he do situational wise? And he's doing a good job with runners on and 2 outs and scoring with nobody on, not too good, but so again, that looks good. Okay, so let's look up the righty against righty. Mets stack is not looking bad right now. So Marte says he's day to day. He has a head injury, so we don't waste a lot of time because we don't know if he's going to play. Kind of the same metrics. He got, most of his power is coming against righties. Interestingly, 291 during the day. He actually likes to play during the daytime. 5 home runs. So his power is more on the right hand side situational wise. He's been 300 with bases loaded, 219 with runs in scoring positions, 2 outs. Yeah, he's had some home runs there. He could be part of the wheel. He's day to day, so he's gonna get something to hit. Where he's batting, his stats don't look too bad with runners on. So in scoring position, if they get a leadoff double by Nemo, so he's definitely somebody. Batting in front of Lindor and Alonso is definitely a watch. Now this guy's a power guy, we know. 19 home runs versus righties, say no more. That's all you're looking for, Alonso. Can he hit versus lefty or righties better when it comes to the power? Kopech is righty, 19 home runs. Not a great average, but ain't been too many people with good averages this year. A lot of averages for a lot of players have been good players, have been down this year. Alonso looks good. Let's see, during the daytime, he has 12 home runs versus 14 at night, about the same there. His slugging is slightly better and OPS is slightly better, so you definitely can play during the daytime. He has 1 grand slam this year. Not doing good with runners on and 2 outs. Overall, not too bad with runners in scoring position. He got 7 home runs, 36 RBI, so he's doing a thing. Alonso's not doing bad. So, looking at that, Mets stack don't look bad today. They don't look bad at all. And they're not too bad. I kind of want to get some Mets in my lineup. I hate to put Nemo in there and then can't get anybody else, but I definitely want to get Nemo. We may have to take Carpenter out, put Pete in there. And since McNeil is such at a low rate, now we got 2,100 for someone. So if we look at it, let's see if that makes sense, because I want to kind of. McNeil is down here. So we got Alonzo and Nemo, which is good. So we may not. McNeil is kind of right there in no man's land. I mean, a lot will have to happen for something for him. Fan might have to walk, because Vogelbach might get. Pete will probably clean everything up, but Vogelbach is not very fast. If he gets on before McNeil, that's kind of tough. If he gets a walk and then Pham gets a walk, then maybe McNeil might be able to do something. Alvarez is very good too. So Mets are looking good, man. I like them. I gotta find a catcher for 2100, but there we go. So that's kind of break that down. Kopech, I won't really bet on it. He's got to show you something more before you play him. You got to kind of let him, put him on ice. We don't know if he has something with his mechanics or something injury-wise. He just didn't look good in that game against Atlanta. And then the Mets, they're not a pushover team. They're underachieving, but they can hurt you. And they're at home. I don't like the unknown with Quintana. So I do like both sides. I like bats on both sides of this game. I really do. I'm thinking about even scratching Rosario here, because I do respect Gallen. When you're doing stuff, you kind of want to see more of more of a favorable matchup with offense. Gallen and Strider is not a lot of favor. So I like this Mets game. I would stack kind of both from here. Yeah, that game might go more than 9 runs. I think they got 8. Hold on, they got 9. I think that would be more like 10 in that game right there. All right, the line is off in the Kansas City game. We're not gonna really. Two kind of lower end teams, Detroit and Kansas City. Yeah, they may have a say in this here, guys, because both of these teams are underachieving. Let's just keep it 100. Kansas City, they're 22 games back. Detroit, they're 6-4. They're actually playing good ball, but they're not going to win a division or anything like that. They're a young team, but they're getting some good experience this year. They're on a 1-game winning streak. Kansas City, they're 3-7 in their last 10 games. On the mound, pitching wise, pitching's been bad for both teams. It looks like Greinke is projected to play. He was activated. It's not a good look. He already wasn't pitching well, and now he's coming off the IL. So Detroit can get hits now. Lorenzen, he's been kind of mediocre this year. He had some good games. Seattle 28-21 against Oakland. Kind of mediocre after that. I don't really trust any of these pitchers. If you was to go in either two, definitely have to go with Lorenzen for sure. But Kansas City got some guys in their lineup that can possibly give them problems. Perez, Witt Jr., of course, Melendez. If you look in the matchups on covers, nothing here, man. I would actually favor Detroit in this game. I'm a big fan of Witt. Don't get it twisted. He's righty going against Lorenzen. Let's see. This is a divisional matchup, so they know they're fond of one another. They've played 9 games already versus one another, so they know each other very well, guys. He has done a lot of damage in 35 at bats, 6 hits. They've kind of kept him in check, man. Let's look at Salvi. Same thing here. Salvi hasn't done much either. So, I don't know what's going on with that right there. They're hurting a lot with Pasquatch being out. Melendez, let's look at his splits. Nothing much there. 8 games. I mean, these teams don't look like they very interested in playing one another, honestly, when they match up. Let's look at Baez. He's doing good. He's got a home run, 12 fangs, got a 1.102 op. So Javi's looking good. Torkelson is another good up and coming rookie in their lineup. Look at his splits, pretty decent. Got 2 long balls against him in the 9 games. I mean, I don't know if they're gonna get McKinstry in there, but I like Detroit in this game. I do. I think they got a better pitcher on the mound. I mean, you go roll Greinke out there and he leaves in the first 2-3 innings, he gets hurt again or something. So I gotta look up Verlin also. Not much there for Eric Haas. Verlin may lead off, not certain. He's done pretty good. He's got a home run, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this game. There are some sneaky plays. Don't get it twisted. I mean, I like Baez, definitely Torkelson. Some of the more guys that have stepped up on the offense for them. You could probably mix in like players from both sides, because I'm telling you, there's not going to be any pitching in this game. And I will probably do that in one of my lineups today. I'm doing multiple lineups in this contest here in the four-seamer. It's just no pitching, man, at all. And then what we saw from Kansas City, they may wake up today in this matchup. Maybe they come out and get at Lorenzen. Again, Lorenzen has been one of their few bright spots this year. I mean, the ERA is decent. He's going to have a win-loss record like that because they don't give him a lot of run support. But he's won his last 2 games. He's given me over 6 innings. He handled his own against Seattle. He hasn't given up only 1 long ball in his last 5 games. So he could be a sneaky play at 5,500, guys. He's not going to be on the radar, but a lot of sharps are going to take a flyer on him because he got a decent matchup today. You know, and Kansas City hasn't looked good against them all year. Now, and he had 2 games started. He hasn't beaten them this year. 1.29 whip. The batting average is not bad. His ERA is kind of inflated because he's given up 3 home runs, 6 earned runs, 12 strikeouts in 2 games. So you pick your poison here. 14 fantasy points for somebody that's at 5,500, and he could possibly, his ceiling could be 20 to 25 in this game. He's shown strikeout ability. He can get you anywhere from 5 to 7 in the right matchup. And he's been giving you 5 to 6 innings consistently. So I like him. I like Detroit. You can stack Detroit. Kansas City, I think they're kind of tapped out, man. Look at this, 22 games back. And Detroit's playing better. They're 6-4. They still have some hope in that division. They're only 6 games behind Minnesota, so this is a game they need to pick up and win, right? Yeah, man. So I don't really care for Kansas City. I mean, you might want to play some of the veterans like Perez and Bobby Witt and Melendez. That's about it, man. I can't really recommend nobody else. I mean, Lorenzen's been pitching good, man. Honestly, Prado and Olivares. I mean, these guys, I mean, they're so Luco. This guy got, 1, 2, 3, 4 donuts. He had a big game, that big scoring game. But Olivares, man, 4 out of 5 games, donuts. So it's kind of hard to be a Royal right now and get up and play baseball, if you know what I mean. Let's wrap it up with Minnesota and Seattle. A real juggernaut team in Minnesota. They're back up on top of the division again. You know, they found a way to creep back up there. Winners of their last 2. It's kind of a really weak division here. They're 3 games over 500 in leading their division, so it's going to be tight. It's going to be a race down the line between them and Cleveland for sure. This guy's the top rated, Pablo Lopez. I haven't really got into him this year like that. He's had a 50-point game against Kansas City, the team we just spoke about. Seattle strikeout wise, they are at the bottom. You're looking at the two teams that strike out the most in the majors, and they're going against each other today. So that's why he's projected so high, because Seattle, they're terrible. Both these pitchers got a good matchup right now. I mean, Kirby, his ceiling is like 10 strikeouts, and its floor is 4 or whatever. So both pitchers are looking good in this one, man. Ain't nothing really fair in Minnesota lineup, to be honest with you. Let's keep it 100. Let's see if we can get an expected lineup. Carrera, they got back lead off. I don't know why they got Buxton leading off, but Carrera leading off, that's kind of... I'm not going to get into this manager from Minnesota. He's done what he's had to do to get him back in the first place, but I've never seen a guy play around with a lineup more than this guy does. You hear me? That's an expected lineup. So, over-under in this game... they're not expecting a lot of runs, 7.5. I kind of see that. I see a lot of strikeouts. Don't see a lot of home runs in this game. It should be a pitching duel on the mound, man. Seattle right now, they're 10 games behind Texas. It's another tough division with Houston and Texas up there at the top, man. That's a tough division to be in. They're trying to do what they can. They're playing 500 ball in their last 10. They lose it up their last 2 games. And Minnesota is winners of their last 2 games. So very important game for Minnesota to help them from sliding more behind 2 teams that can run or trying to run away with that division. So this is a very interesting game to watch. I can't really tell you what to do with the batters in this game. With such a low over-under, honestly. I mean, Julio looking pretty bad. He ain't woke up yet. Honestly. Let's see how he does. We're not gonna spend a lot of time on this game. From the offensive side, based on the team that strike out a lot is 2 good strikeout pitchers on the mound, 2 good pitchers on the mound. But he's got 13 home runs on the year. He's a young guy, 22 years old. Versus righty, that's where most of his power comes from, as you can see. Day games, nothing really great to talk about. He does have an equal amount of home runs. Well, a little bit more during the night. Pretty much kind of the same. It's a little bit better at night, it appears, from an OBP standpoint. Slugging, they're about pretty much the same. Situational wise, bases loaded, very good. Runs in scoring position with 2 outs, good. So it's gonna be interesting to see if they can get to Pablo. I don't really see how they're gonna do it. Kyle Raleigh, 219 average as a catcher, a switch hitter. I mean, let's look at the pitcher first of all. Let's see any sample size of Pablo going against his team. Why he's 10,200. He hasn't pitched against them. Away games, 3.56 ERA. Good on the road, 1.12 WHIP. 10 games started. He's got 73 strikeouts. His ERA is over 4, but he backs it up with punching people out. Had an issue with the home run ball against Oakland, and that's the thing. I mean, he was 10,200 against Oakland. They had a no decision. They got to him. That's fantasy baseball. I mean, the thing is, when you're talented and a good player, are you gonna very rarely they're going to have a bad back-to-back games like that. You know what I'm saying? I think this guy's metric just speaks more to his stuff and not to his situation. Because when he gets in situations, he can get taken advantage of. But he's very good at striking people out. 12 against Kansas City, 10 against Detroit. In a game where he gave up, 3 earned runs he still had over 20 fantasy points. So a team like Seattle that's striking out a lot, they're not really scaring anybody that have played here recently. Let's see what's going on in their lineup one more time. So let's look at Teoscar Hernandez, because they were doing pretty good there at one point. Seattle was, but I think teams have kind of figured them out. When your star players and having a great week, it's not good. Teoscar has home run power. He hasn't went deep in a while, man. This team's kind of struggling. They're going against a pitcher that can punch them out. So I don't really see any reason to roster any bats from this game. I'm not going to pay $4,900 for Julio playing the way he is. I can play Hernandez for $3,300 and hope that if Julio gets a walk and he steals a base, he can maybe bring him in with a double, or or maybe he gets lucky and get a home run on Pablo. Kalenic is a lefty. He's been pretty hitting contact. He's been consistent. So if there's a crack in the wall anywhere in this game, it's not gonna. These guys are gonna be lowly percentage on. There ain't a lot of people. Crawford is a very good leadoff hitter. We can look at Eugenio Suarez, but I'm pretty sure a lot. His salary's gone out of $2,800. That's very cheap for Suarez, and he's gonna went deep in his last 3 games. So he's definitely in play. This could be a sneaky game, honestly, because Seattle's kind of a sleeping. I won't say a sleeping giant, but they're kind of a sleeping team right now. And a lot of people gonna overlook them because Rodriguez, they're gonna play into that $10,000 salary, and they don't think they're gonna get dominated. And he's shown some cracks in his armor, man. Like Oakland got to him. So I am a fan of Rodriguez. I do like the top of the order. I like their guys. Don't get it twisted. If they get on base, they can give him some issues. Crawford, Rodriguez, France, Hernandez, like the top 5 are good. Even Ford with his power can take him deep. I'm kind of liking Seattle as a sleeper here. I don't really like nothing from Minnesota, honestly, except for maybe Pablo with his strikeout upside. But Buxton, I've been kind of striking out with him lately. His average is terrible. I think he's still hurt. I think he's playing with an injury. You just gotta let him bat out of his slump. I'm not gonna pay $5,200 for the unknown. I don't give a damn if he's had 2 donuts and he's probably, the law of averages say he comes back with a game today. He's gonna have to show me before I pay that kind of salary for him. Alright, so don't really like anything there. Carrera's gonna get 5 at bats. You can tell they're looking for something. A little bit more, some more consistency there, even though they're back at the top of the lineup, but they gotta get better contact here, man. He had nothing in his last game either. So he's gonna get 5 at bats, maybe even 6. He's probably one of the lone spots I would play. You can go with Buxton, hoping that he gets out of the slump, and Carrera. Let's see, one last thing. They got Solano. I'm a big fan of Solano, definitely. Outside of that, I don't really like too much. Gallo strikes out too much. Vasquez, he's just in there for his defense. Kepler is a decent play. I like a 1, 3, 5, 6. I like them, man. You can do a 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. I'll skip Kirilloff because I think the damage will be done by the time they get the Buxton if Kirby starts coughing up. So, but I like Seattle as a sleeper team. Minnesota is a league contender. They lead their division. They're finding ways to win right now. So don't sleep on them by any means. But two good pitchers on the mound and two teams that strike out a lot. So what does that equate to? Kind of spotty production to me. So I wouldn't really roster too much out of this game. And some of these players that you betting on that are prototypical players like busting a career, they're highly salaried. They're boom or bust players, man. So I won't really waste a lot of time with this. You can buy down and get some production with other better pitching matchups somewhere else. So I mean, I like Carrera having the extra at bat. I like the salary of Suarez and Hernandez. I mean, the guy got a 4.24 ERA for a reason. So I mean, he can strike out people, but he can give up hits and home runs. I'm talking about Lopez. So play very wisely in that, man. And that'll do it, man. I hope 2 hours, man, kind of long, man. But I hope y'all enjoyed it, man. Y'all take care. Good luck.